let's debate. I'm sure the nation this morning wants to know ipsilateral or contralateral suturing. Now, the ability to perform laparoscopic suturing to a meaningful degree is an indispensable component of operative laparoscopy. I'm sure all of us will
Hemant,
agree.
your screen is not visible.
My screen
Share
is
the
not
screen.
visible.
No. Share the screen, Hemant.
I'm sorry.
You have
Just
to open it on the back side and then click the share
yeah.
screen.
Just a moment. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
It is visible, but your video is not on. Hemant, we are not seeing you.
No,
That's okay. I think that might not be possible because I'm logged in through my browser. But I think you can hear me clearly, right?
Time starts now already.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Dr. Hemant Kanoji, a pelvic endoscopic surgeon from Mumbai. And I'm sure the nation wants to know ipsilateral or contralateral suturing. And I'm sure all of us know the ability to perform laparoscopic suturing to a meaningful degree is an indispensable component of operative laparoscopy. Now, we also know a knot or stitch is either absolutely right or hopelessly wrong. There is nothing in between. And as the great Charles Coe, who innovated and introduced ipsilateral suturing, has said, adept and successful laparoscopic suturers are made and not born. So what is the advantage of ipsilateral suturing? The laparoscopic suturing of ipsilateral side takes place in the vertical zone. It mimics laparotomy as close as possible because the action is transparent, almost transparent to the surgeon, and he feels like just suturing at laparotomy. Both hands on the same side and the shoulders are relaxed. So we all know this basic principle of triangulation, and always the argument was how would you achieve triangulation on ipsilateral suturing, but it's quite possible as I'll show you. And the triangulation is between the target organ and the two ports where we are using the two needle holders. The base should be at least 12 to 15 centimeters apart. That gives a good convergence at the target organ. If it is too narrow, it will give you a chopstick effect. And if it is too wide, as sometimes happens in contralateral suturing, then it is ergonomically incorrect. Now, the visual angle is the angle between the scope and the instrument or the target organ. Ideally, it should be in between the two needle holders. That is the only thing which we can't achieve in ipsilateral suturing. But I'm telling you, laparoscopy is a virtual image and it relies on forming a mental image in the surgeon's brain. Experienced lap surgeons have subconsciously learned to interpret these visual cues and mentally construct a three-dimensional view of the operative field. It is like hardwired into our brain. So it is actually part of our subconscious competence. And that's why we can just do the movements, reflexly. The relationship between the camera, instrument, and the anatomy is referred to as triangulation, as we already saw. So ergonomics in ipsilateral position is an ideal relaxed position. It's a straight head and the axis of the trunk. The shoulders are in relaxed neutral position. The arms should be alongside the body, elbows bent to 70 to 90 degrees, forearms in the horizontal or slightly descending axis, hands should be pronated, that is physiological resting position, hands and fingers lightly grip the handle, and the OT table should be in the waistline of the surgeon. The gaze on the monitor should be in line with the vision or slightly down, and triangulation should be possible. So if you can see over here, in ipsilateral suturing, we achieve almost everything. My shoulders are relaxed, arms are besides my torso, and the elbows are not bent more than 70 to 90 degrees. You can see my assistant over there helping me proactively, which is not possible in contralateral suturing, a disadvantage. Here you can see the port position and we are getting adequate triangulation. Here again, once again, the port position, another angle of view. And here you can see now the distance between my fingers or stretched fingers over here is almost 14 centimeters. So that completes the base of the triangle, gives me adequate triangulation to reach the target organ and suture adequately. The angle between the two needle holders should be at least 60 to 70 degrees to achieve optimal knotting. So here, if you see, this is a 120 kg patient whom we completed a lap hysterectomy, and you can see everything prolapsing into the pelvis in spite of a good head low and the position of Trendelenburg. So here you can see my assistant retracting the bowel loops in the anterior side, you can see the bladder peritoneum, sitting on the anterior wall of the vagina. So just see how my assistant is proactively assisting from the other side, where I can take a good bite of the posterior wall of the vagina as well as the anterior wall of the vagina along with the pubocervical fascia. So here you can make out how life becomes so easy with the assistant being proactively involved. Here again, we are doing an ipsilateral suturing for a myomectomy. We have this principle of taking a box stitch. We hardly use barb sutures for myomectomy. Only in certain cases of inner layer suturing, we use barb sutures. Otherwise, we really don't advocate barb sutures because we are comfortable with our suturing technique. We have this principle of taking a box stitch in almost all myomectomies, and especially deep myomectomies where we take from anterior to posterior or posterior to anterior in the bed, deep into the bed of the myoma. And we cover the entire bed, so there is hardly any collection of hematoma inside, and the edges also approximate very nicely. So if I just forward this video for you a bit, so I'll show you the final product. Now see, here we are, pulling the suture, and you can see anteriorly how well the tissues are approximated. And we always take this triple knot, which is very easily possible in ipsilateral suturing. So the assistant just holds. Now look at the assistant over here. He's just lifting up the tissue and making my life easy. This is not possible in contralateral suturing, or it is possible from the left upper port, which becomes again a very messy kind of a situation ergonomically. You can see our triple knot sitting over there and gives a adequate tension to the tissue. The assistant does not need to place any stepping on the suture to keep it approximated. It gives good uniform tension and there's no problem at all. So these are the advantages which we should not be overlooking. And let me tell you, when I started my career in 2001, I was a contralateral suturer because that is how I was trained, and for 5 years I did that. And then finally I realized the disadvantage of that, and I took up ipsilateral suturing. So here, some people feel that a vertical incision can't be sutured through this, and we have to take a transverse incision only. But here you can see we are comfortably suturing even a vertical incision on the anterior wall and the fundus, through an ipsilateral method. So again, you can see the triple knot, and it is quite easy to do it. The visual angle doesn't matter so much in this case because the surgeon is hardwired to already make those movements. And you see, he is hardwired to take subconsciously and wrap that suture around the assistant needle holder. So you can see a good approximation over here and no problem at all, no need for barbed sutures. So here you can see the posterior wall suturing is supposed to be the most dreadful suturing in myomectomy, and we can achieve a good result over there. Also, this is an adenomyomectomy. We could not remove the adenomyoma completely because...
Sorry to interrupt, yeah. 1 minute left.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll just complete it. So here you can see we are suturing. So again, we are taking the box stitch, which is very useful. Just from my friend Sandesh, we are taking one suture for his satisfaction through the contralateral this. I do not completely, not do contralateral in certain cases to achieve an angle. In very few cases, once in a while, we do contralateral suturing. Okay, at least just to drive the needle through. So here you can see the approximation with this ipsilateral suturing is so satisfactory. The bed is completely occluded, and we do a follow-up sonography of all these patients on day 15 to see if there's any residual collection. We have hardly found, any cases of gross hematoma, even in big fibroids. So our results are quite good as far as approximation is concerned. So you can see over here how nicely it is tightened. I call this as the B-Lynch of myomectomy. Here, this is one more video where we are suturing the ovary. This was just done yesterday. It's a case of endometrioma. In endometrioma, where we have opened the ovary to a huge extent, we always suture. Now look at my assistant nicely holding the ovary for me so that it's not dangling down while I take the sutures. So here you can see, again, he is holding while I pull the needle
so,
out.
The time is up.
Yeah, just give me, just one last One now, normally
Okay.
people think that we can't take a
Hemant,
stitch.
it's time
Yeah,
up. We
sorry,
can't go off the schedule.
give 1 second also extra, please.
Okay, thank you so much, thank you so much.
You have done a beautiful job. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I'm surprised, Hemant, did Sejal force you to take this topic? Because it is such an irrelevant, unscientific, you are trying to defend something which is unproven, and I'm going to prove you. Okay? So, Hemant, when God created hands, he thoughtfully placed them contralaterally and that too symmetrically. To ensure a proper functioning of the hands, he made sure that the vision, that is the telescope or camera, is at the top in the center, so you achieve a perfect symmetry and triangulation. So every day when you meet, greet, eat contralaterally, why suddenly change in the operation theater? And this is my defending point, that ipsilateral is nothing but a bunch of gynecologists wanted to be just different from the rest of the traditional world and show that we do something different with a false pretense that we are caring for your shoulder exertion, not knowing that they are defying physics and that is causing immense mental exertion for them. See, to begin with, the suturing starts with a proper posture. And the posture, if I thought my opponent would raise some queries about the height and everything. So you have to stand straight and tall. Your operation table should go below your waist and your arms should be by the side of your trunk and down. So all this is possible. But what is more possible with contralateral is standing in the coaxial plane. The surgeon should face the monitor with the pathology in between. This is impossible, not possible because of the contralateral. You either have to turn your neck. So my friend, if you are caring for my shoulder, which I have two, I would like to care for your neck, which you have only one. And the importance is here, when you are in the straight line with the pathology and the monitor, your visual axis and your motor axis get coordinated, and that actually helps you in the efficiency of the task to be performed. That is the laparoscopic suturing here. A surgeon is only as good as his assistants and the ports he places. Placing ports is a big issue in ipsilateral suturing, because you have to take care of the superficial epigastric, the deep epigastric, and then also the nerves. And now this ipsilateral forces you that the ports should be on the same side. When there is a problem of finding a good single place, you want him to place another port, that too at some certain distance and also in the same plane. So it is practically very difficult. Either he compromises with the port positioning principles or with his surgery. The whole idea where to put ports lies in the baseball diamond concept. If you have a pathology, you draw a 18 centimeter line around the pathology circle and a 24 centimeter circle. And if your ports are within this brown area, they function the best. This is proved scientifically. And this is what happens in contralateral suturing. Next, I would go, my friend said that depth perception happens subconsciously, but there are a lot of things that are happening and help us in depth perception. And this is the most important factor in laparoscopic suturing. See, now the mic is obstructing his face. That itself tells me that the mic is in front of the singer. Secondly, there is something called linear parallax. When the instruments run parallel, they appear to be converging. So this is what happens with ipsilateral ports. You always feel that the instruments are converging. You also appreciate that the pelvis also converges distally. So this is a parallax which is there in everybody's mind that happens here. Second is the motion parallax. If you bring the bowel close to your screen and move, you will see the full screen moving. So when the pathology is very close, or when the instrument is very close to the camera, it gives very high motion parallax, and the distal port gives very minimal parallax. So that means they are not equal and as much as the surgeon has exerted. Relative size, the nearer object appears bigger and thicker. So all this actually makes a problem in ipsilateral suturing. Now in contralateral, you can appreciate that the instruments come from this side at a perfect angle. They are at an equal distance. Same amount of instruments come inside the abdomen, and they are not obstructing each other. They are in the same plane. Whereas in the ipsilateral, like the proximal instrument, the needle holder would appear thicker. Secondly, the uterus is at a very distance from the proximal port. So a more length of instrument has to go as compared to the lower port. So you are operating with two instruments which are of different lengths inside, different sizes inside, obstructing each other. So all this is very, very unscientific. They have totally defied physics and asking for ergonomy. I am shocked.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. 1 minute left.
Yeah. Second is there are a lot of angles. You can see with the contralateral, you have a perfect azimuth angle and perfect manipulation angle, which gives you the best efficiency. And look at this, the elevation angle is so high. And most importantly, I would come to the knot, either it is perfect or hopelessly wrong. You will see naturally the contralateral knot is square knot, which is called a surgeon's knot. I would like to ask my dear friend, you have shifted from contralateral to ipsilateral. I thought you have some better design of knot. Where is the gynae knot? The nation wants to know where is the gynae knot after so many years of ipsilateral suturing. Thank you so much.